Bill DeFoi. Welcome back to News Junkies. We're visiting with life coach Michelle Hubbard, and we've been doing a series of exercises. Today we're going to take a look at the letter I in the word lift. We've already done L, now it's I. And Michelle, as always, welcome in here.
Thank you, Bill. As always, happy to be here and see you.
Oh, it's always happy to see you. And we've done the letter L, and we're going to do the letter I. These are some exercises that kind of help really probe into what a person's really thinking.
Yes, and once you discover something about who you really are and what you really want to be and do in the world, to love that, to not judge that harshly, to not criticize that, to not compare that, to experience all of you, maybe even some shadow parts, in a friendly, soft, easy, gentle, welcoming way. So how does something that feels as stringent as integrity fit in with that? Well, when I think of integrity and the way I coach and teach integrity is not to look at it as a moral issue so much of right, wrong, but more as a landing on what do I want? What do I really want? What is my yes? What is my no? And then to be so solidly landed in that and know that when you make an agreement, your word, your actions, your thoughts, your feelings are all consistent with that. When you're coming from that space, you're operating in integrity. You have an ability to go home to yourself and be safe with yourself and be yourself, because you know you're going to be on your side. You're going to either say no to something you don't want to do or say yes to something even though it's scary. So one of the ways that I teach in one of my exercises to experience integrity is to look at how you make agreements. Are you someone who does what they say they're going to do and doesn't do what you say you're not going to do?
Okay.
And what I'm asking you to do today, I have a pad and a pen for you.
All right. And you've asked me to bring along my cell phone, and you asked me to open up my calendar on the cell phone, which I have right here. That's my cell phone and the calendar. Okay.
Now, if you could make 2 columns on the paper. One is did what I said I was going to do. And if you want, you that are watching can do this exercise with us as well. So piece of paper, your calendar, pen, one side for did what I said I was going to do, didn't do what I said I wasn't going to do. And then drawing a line to the right of that, on the other side is going to be didn't do what I said I was going to do. Did what I said I wasn't going to do. In other words, the opposite. And I'm smiling, appreciating the serendipity of the timing of us doing this exercise, because I know you've been on vacation for the last week.
That's right.
And so perhaps not quite as structured, deadline-oriented.
No, it's kind of what do you feel like doing today? Well, let's do this, let's do that. And that's how we operated. So I've done, as you suggested, I drew the line down the middle, and on the one side I said, do what I said I would do, and then on the other side, didn't do what I said I would do, or something to that effect.
Right, did the opposite. Now, take a look at your last week, this week when you were on vacation, and take a look at each day, and notice and write down on whichever column is appropriate what sort of things you said you would do and you actually did.
All right, let's see here.
And what sort of things you said no to.
Let me get it back here to, because we're doing this really the first part of September of 2015, so for time purposes, I'm going to go back to the last week of August, and I will start with Tuesday the 25th.
Okay.
All right. That's the day that I left for vacation. So I'm going to put on there, left for vacation.
Okay. And while you're doing your exercise, I can say a few more things about integrity.
Go right ahead.
Okay. A tool that I share both in classes and with my clients is a handout from the Hendricks Institute, and it's something you can actually get for free from their website if this attracts your interest as well. And it's called the 4 Pillars of Integrity. And the 4 pillars of integrity revolve around making impeccable agreements and having a healthy responsibility for your feelings, being aware of what you're feeling when you're feeling it, and then listening with an openness to discovery. And with these 4 pillars and answering wonder questions about which one of them is up for me right now, taking a look at this and letting it just guide for you simply whatever your eye lands on, thinking, I wonder what it is here that attracted my attention, even if unconsciously, is a way of bringing yourself home to you. It's a way of more actively affirming something in your life that you want to bring into it than just pasting stickies on your mirror and paying yourself compliments you don't really believe in. Now, you're looking at me. Does this mean you're done with your list?
Well, I'm not done. I'm just really getting started. I was paying attention to what you were saying is what I was doing, to be honest with you. So, on day 1, I said I would be leaving for vacation,
right,
going to the airport, which I did, took my flights to my destination, arrived at the destination. The individuals that were picking me up picked me up, and from there we drove back into town. Not really a whole lot planned for that day. It was kind of get there and then go home and regroup kind of thing. So the following day, it was get settled in. And so we made it a point to get settled in. And one of the things that I had said that I wanted to do was to take a look at the town as a whole, which I did. And we went to a couple of places because, they were looking at trying to get me to move there. And I said, well, okay, let's go do that. So that's what we did.
And was that something you really wanted to do, or did because that was...
No, it was something I was looking forward to doing because I'm always fascinated by local towns, local cultures, and seeing what is available.
Okay, so you said, let's go do this, and you did it.
Let's go do it, and we did it.
Okay, so as you look at your past week, does it appear to you that you did more of the things you said you were going to do, or you kind of slid back and got wobbly on doing things that you said maybe even to yourself that you weren't going to do? What's your feel of your balance of where you were?
I think overall, everything that I had intended to do on this trip got accomplished.
Yeah.
And maybe 1 or 2 things that I had hoped we could do didn't get done. It was, in my opinion, probably no big loss that we didn't get them accomplished, but my thing was, well, we didn't get it done this time, so let's make that a priority on our list for next time. And that's how we left it. And they said, fine, let's handle it that way.
Yeah, that's great. And I find that when we do this exercise, people, for the most part, predominantly do what they say they're going to do, don't do what they say they aren't going to do. Sometimes it gets a little bit slippery on how we don't do the things we don't want to do because we don't want to hurt someone's feelings or aren't completely clear. But instinctively, we want to and do operate in integrity and an awareness of what we want. And we tend to lose sight of that. We tend to be harsh with ourselves and think, I don't like to keep agreements. Agreements are too rigid for me. I don't like to keep my word because maybe the other person has something that I want to change my word a little bit around with. All of that's fine. It's a matter of communicating it clearly. But what I'd now like to invite you to do is appreciate yourself for someone who lives in integrity. Appreciate yourself for being someone who integrity is so important that when you say you're going to do something, maybe even a little granddaughter doesn't distract you from it. Or when you make a promise to that little granddaughter, nothing anyone else says or does is going to distract you from that.
Right.
Do you have a way of appreciating yourself?
I do, and that's, something where, I can kind of sit back and say, this feels good.
Okay. Well, congratulations. And There are other ways for learning more about integrity, and this is one that is an exercise that seems to be a good place to start.
Wonderful. Michelle Hubbard, our life coach extraordinaire here on News Junkies. Our next visit, we're going to take a look at the letter F in the word lift. And we're going to do that next time right here on News Junkies. And before I forget, I'm going to be closing out the segment without inviting you to share your contact information.
Thank you. My website is michelleforyou.com, and my email address is michellehubbard, and then the number 4 and the letter U @gmail.com.
I like how you do that with your hands to describe the website. Michelle Hubbard, our life coach extraordinaire. I'm Bill DeFoi. Thank you for joining us. This is a production of the Heritage Media Group.
Thank you.